hit go live, but I'm going to do it if he doesn't. What's good, Bolt fam? I'm your host, Booga Peters, and welcome to Bolt Blitz Uncut. We have an incredibly special edition tonight. Listen, we have a lot of fun on this show. We're a little laid back, if you haven't been paying attention, but it's a special show because I'm joined by two veterans. The veterans that I've had in my life have been incredibly important to me. And though my father, as I pointed out to both Jessica and Taylor, he didn't really like the whole Happy Veterans Day. He just liked being appreciated all the time. We'll start with you, Jessica. Talk about your service, and please, if you could, allow me to aid in the fact that I need an explanation about what my dad meant.
Gosh, well, thank you for starting out with me and just throwing it all out there.
You got this. It's no sweat. You got this. I just mean I hear so many veterans say, like, though we do appreciate the thanks, it's less about that and it's more about we already went out and did it. We appreciate the celebration, but let's find it in the right way.
Yeah, and you know what? There's like I feel like I don't really have the right to speak on this because there's so many other veterans out there that have so many more years on me. I just did 8 years, 5 on a ship, 3 on shore duty. But I know, like,
Oh, is that all? Is that all you did? It was just
no,
8 years
but
of
there's
your
a lot of
life?
people out there that did like 20, 30. Like, those are the people. And honestly, like, I was in the Navy, so and I was stationed the 5 years that I was on board a ship. I was stationed on an LSD 47, which is basically a water taxi for the Marines. So I downplay this a lot. So all we do is we go, we take the Marines out, drop them off on land, come back out in the water, do drills, turn around, go pick them up. Like I worked in the ship store. I worked, and then I moved on, and then I worked logistics and supported the ship as far as like repair parts go and stuff. But yeah, there's so many other people that did like way better things than I did.
Hold on, no. This is exactly like a football team. There's a Tucker Fisk. There's a Scott Matlock. There are so many different portions of these kind of things that make sure that it all runs the right way. Please don't downsell yourself on this show. We're not going to tolerate that because you deserve so much better. And anybody who has served in any capacity does. I will say this. I understand that it's easy to be humble in a situation like that because y'all were put in some very dire straits multiple times, depending on your situation. But Taylor, talk to me a little bit about your service. 8 years Army. I mean, let's go.
Yeah. I was in the Army Reserves for 8 years. My MOS was a signals intelligence analyst. Did some intel work. But yeah, I don't, there's a lot of other veterans who've done a lot more than I have. So, the honors to them, but it's great to get recognized. So I really appreciate you bringing on two vets to talk about our service. But yeah, I did 8 years in the reserves. My contract actually officially ended in March. So officially out of the military as of March.
Congratulations and thank you for everything you did. Listen, this is that show where, we're going to talk a lot of football. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to that too. I can't wait to have both of your opinions, considering how often you go to games, especially, of course, our gal, Jessica Thompson. This is Bolt Blitz Uncut. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in. We really appreciate everybody in the comment section. I see you, Brian Cates. I see you, Hugo. I see you, of course, Matt Lidioff of MLB Collectibles. If you guys are looking things to purchase regarding Chargers collectibles on Mondays, he puts those on both the San Diego Chargers lovers page and then the Bolt Blitz Uncut page. He's got some great stuff. It'd be great to see if you guys have anything that you might be interested in as well. When you talk about your service, Taylor, how did you transition from that, as you just got done in March, to trying to start a podcast in June? I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I mean, well, with the reserves, right? I had a full-time job. So I did my 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year. I'd go on different training. So I always had to figure out that work military balance. But I actually am going to put out a video about this during the bye week. So the podcast came to be, I've been a Chargers fan since 2006, since I was 12 years old.
That's a great year to be a Chargers fan,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
If you didn't know, you should know because, man, that was a phenomenal year.
Yeah, and like I said, I grew up on the East Coast, so you had the Jets or Giants or the Eagles, and that just it wasn't my cup of tea. So, yeah, I've been a fan since 2006, but the podcast kind of started in June. I was doing a lot of fitness content, and I was kind of spinning my wheels, and my husband's like, "Well, why don't you just talk about Chargers football? Like, you're so passionate about it. Why don't you start a podcast?" And then the light bulb went off, and that's kind of where we are today.
And you're killing it. I love it so much. Your content is so data focused that I believe that will overcome a lot of the biases that these idiots have out there. I really hope so. And if not, we're going to do everything we can to help propel you forward because I'm tired of this shit. Jessica, your fandom, talk to me about when this started for you. I kind of have an idea, but tell everybody out there when you became a Chargers fan, and then, of course, we're going to move to the streak. But let's start with when you became a Chargers fan, and then, of course, when your service started. And regardless of how much you downplay it, I know you're still in it. So talk to us about that, please.
So it's kind of back in I'm dating myself here. So it's back in 1995, my senior year of high school. I had friends that were like 49er fans, Miami fans. Everybody in my house were like Cleveland Browns fans. I'm like, I'm not feeling any of those. And I see football and I'm like, you know what? I like the Chargers. I like what they're doing. Let me watch them. And I slowly just kind of built over time. And then as I graduated high school, became a little bit more independent, moved out, joined the Navy. I went to games as I could. Was at
You were a little
Qualcomm, but
busy.
but it was funny because like at Qualcomm, like I didn't have a group of Charger fans to hang out with. I was kind of like on my own. And the big tailgate for me was the Raider games because I had friends that were Raider fans, and I was the one Charger fan hanging out with a group of Raider fans. And that was fun. But I'm like, yeah, I wish there were. I just didn't know. I didn't know everybody back then. And so as I, went to the Navy, got out finally in 2000 and
What you needed to do was find a short, fat, drunk white dude by the name of Booga, and I was all over the parking lots at Qualcomm.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know how anyone missed me.
I probably saw you back then and like just didn't even know. Or maybe maybe I saw you, but you were this, and then I just looked right over you.
It's very likely. 80, I'm sure that when we meet, he's going to have trouble finding me. He's 6'11". That's a shout out to my co-host, of course. Hey, this is Bolt Blitz Uncut. We're having so much fun here. It's so nice to talk about, different experiences and kind of give everybody out there who's listening a different perspective. Really nice to have Taylor join us back again. Taylor, when you talk about this season, and I know you've been to a lot of these games, and we're going to piggyback off that and head to Jessica. Yep. But you look at the vibes in these games, especially being supposedly 70 to 30% overrun in SoFi during that primetime game against the Steelers. But I don't know if it mattered because I think the Chargers were just ready.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was sitting in 206. I think I was sitting in the level above you, Jess, because I saw you with the lightning bolt. So I guarantee you my section had maybe 20 Chargers fans, and it was just terrible towels all around me. Luckily, on one side of me, I had Charger fans, and then the other side were Steeler fans. So I was talking with the Chargers fans. But yeah, it didn't matter. The defense played phenomenal, I thought, on Sunday night. Probably one.
Was it their best game of the year?
I think so. It just seemed like Aaron Rodgers was hurried back there, didn't know what to do. And I was listening to some of the post-game commentary and some of the players talking about taking away his first read and forcing him to look elsewhere. And then, they knew which kind of gaps he was trying to look at to either run the ball, and they were closing them. So I just thought the game plan on the defensive side was phenomenal. We knew going into the game, the offensive line issues, Herbert was going to get pressured. The defense, there's the top paid defense in the league, right? And the game plan took I thought it was a little slow to get going, but once the game got going, I think it started to work. And then, we just continued to put points on the board.
Taylor, don't you think that was kind of intentional, though, in a game like that against the Steelers? I feel like it was a slow roll in the beginning intentionally. It was kind of to warm up the offense. And when I watched them slowly start to get going, and you watch the way that the defense, as you mentioned, 9 stops with nothing.
Yeah.
Jesse Minter's caught a lot of heat, especially on this show, because we've been trying to give Greg Roman the shine that I feel he deserves, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Minter has really dialed up the last 3 weeks. It's been exciting to watch that. Jessica, you're at these games too. You've been to 62 in a row. The vibes, what I want to talk about regarding the vibes, and there we are, is when we look at the last few weeks, you've been in contact with me as the quote unquote Bolt Blitz reporter. It got a little weird in Tennessee. And then obviously, you move towards the Steelers game and it's 70-30 and the messages were, wow, we're outnumbered. And then it was just the folks that were there did just enough or even more than they could. Your thoughts on the vibes and how weird has it been? And is this just a Chargers fan base that is really concerned because they're just right on the edge no matter what?
No, I think like I honestly I think like for comparing last year to this year, like the Charger fans have definitely shown up. And then as of course as the Chargers have momentum on the field, if you can just silence that crowd and keep it going, then you can't if you don't give them anything to cheer about, they're just gonna sit there. So that's the goal, right?
every damn game.
But yeah, like Taylor was saying, just we were definitely outnumbered. Took a while for the game to get, but I think honestly, was it the last 5 games, or I don't know. But we've been holding those offenses to like 250 yards or less, right, per game. Is it the last
Minter
5 games?
and the defense has
Yeah.
turned it up. Getting Mac back obviously helped a ton. Thule has really stepped up. And then obviously, as I pointed out on both X, Twitter, and Facebook, and anybody who would listen to me, getting Deshaun Hand back was incredibly important for this defense. It really escalates not just the run game, but the pass rush. He's not going to put up a lot of sacks, but the pressures are going to show up. And though, by the way, if you did not see Denzel Perriman knock the shit out of I don't know how many ball carries in the A and B gap, y'all are not watching the same game that I'm watching. You're there, Jessica, Taylor. You guys see Denzel make a hit like that. What's the stadium feel like and how electric is it?
I'll let Taylor take it.
Yeah, I mean, big hits. I mean, even Bud Dupree had a sack on Sunday.
I love how she said even Bud Dupree.
Yeah. I mean, the Charger fans that were there that showed up to the game that didn't sell their tickets.
Oh, here we go. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of on X about not selling your tickets. And I get it. You can make some money, but I thought Charger fans to Jess's point have done a really good job this year showing up to SoFi. But yeah, I mean, the fans were electric when that defense was out there making big hits on Rodgers and whoever else on that Steelers offensive side of the ball.
I know everybody here that's on this show right now, including my friend and producer extraordinaire, Kyle, can appreciate that. I saw so many videos of those fans leaving the stadium, those Steelers fans leaving the queue, or excuse me, the queue. God,
the queue?
SoFi, stop. I should have said Jack Murphy. God damn it. But listen.
I thought you meant QUEUE and you were channeling 80 Simons being British and all. And I don't know. That's what I heard.
That's so not fair. Sorry. I have very fond memories of Q, Qualcomm, Jack Murphy. That's where I grew up, if you will. I attended a lot of games there. But I look at SoFi and I don't care how many fans are there as long as the right fans are there. I know that sounds weird. Of course I would love, and I'm not here to tell season ticket holders how to distribute their tickets, but boy, it would be nice if y'all just did it to Chargers fans. And I don't manage anybody's money unless the people that when I work for American West and Sky Trust and all these different SunTrust and different banks. But I will say this, there's money to be made if you show up if you do it the right way.
Yeah. I mean, there's threads on X of Charger threads of trying to sell your tickets to other Charger fans. So,
a lot of them too. Yeah. And I think, and listen, Jennifer Mills, she's
Jen's awesome.
2 years ago, I think maybe 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly. She's a fan of the year. And one of the things that I appreciate the most about her is I'm not sure there's a fan who puts so much money into giveaways that she does. And she also does her best to incorporate, if anybody's selling tickets, can we figure out a way to do it to Chargers fans? I cannot give her enough respect, and she doesn't really respond to me because for all the reasons, but I do appreciate everything that she does. I think it's important to have people like that in the fan base, but just as importantly, we need people like Jessica and Taylor that respectfully know the game and kind of run through this shit with their heads down but face up, because we're not trying to get penalties. What you all provide is a new perspective, and it's something that I'm not sure everybody's ready for, but I think it's just something that everybody starts to need to embrace. There's just so many opportunities for people to learn about football. When I listen to the Electric Edge podcast, I'm learning something. So I appreciate you for taking the time to be on my show. And it was so exciting to me when you're like, yeah, I'm down. Like, give me the link.
Absolutely.
That was so cool. It means so much to me, Taylor. And Jessica, I don't know if there's a bigger supporter of this show than you. I can't get my co-host to fucking retweet shit, but you do all this shit. The hands love. You know I'm gonna fuck with you about that. But listen, this is a different show. We kind of we relax and we talk Chargers football. I don't know that when we looked at the diagram of the Chargers offensive line and the Steelers defensive line, there was a lot of confidence among any of us. Did I think that there were some holes to be had regarding the lack of coverage in the secondary with Pittsburgh? Sure, of course I did. Do the linebackers occasionally get out of position? Yeah. But it just boiled down to the fact that 10 is just better than, I think, maybe anybody in the league. You're there in person, Jessica. When you watch the fans watch him scramble for these hard yards, when you see him make these passes that literally about 1% of any quarterback ever could make, how do the fans react, and what's the vibe when he makes those kind of plays?
You know what? Everybody's holding their breath, because I know a couple times he went down. I'm like, is he gonna get out?
This last game was rough. It was rough, especially early. It was especially
so
early.
Rough.
So, Taylor, you saw the same exact thing. You saw him go down early. You saw what looked like, I don't want to say something that could be too serious, but I mean, it was on both ankles. And he's just
I held my breath.
And then in the post game, when he was asked about how are you feeling, like, I'm doing great, thank you, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not verbatim, but but that's 10.
That's always him. If you watch all of his press conferences, every time it's like, hey, how do you feel about getting pressured? Oh, it's a part of the game. That's his response. He does not put himself above, like, oh yeah, he's like, he's so humble. He's like, it's a part of a game. This is what we do.
It's not just what he does. It's that he is in this refusal phase to talk about, let's just say, I don't know, and we're not going to go into the PFF stats, but we all saw the graphics during the game. The 35 out of 36. There's 36 out of 36. 37 out of 38. No, by the way, let's just have one that's 38 out of 38. Hey, we covered them all. Like, it's a little rough, but 10 always gives you a chance to win. Producer extraordinaire Kyle's ready to chime in. I cannot wait.
Who had Booga Peters lasting 18 and a half minutes before trashing the O-line? You just cost a lot of people some money, Booga.
You really made me so nervous with what you were saying.
And as an aside, like, the only reason why I didn't do the kazoo version of this is because I don't know how you kazoo a hip-hop song, but nobody's made a pun about Return of the Mac yet. Very disappointing.
Oh, I'll sing the whole damn song. That's none of your business, though. Hey. As we all know, we have so much fun here. Thank you, Kyle, for interjecting. When I look at this Chargers team moving forward, and we'll get Kyle right the fuck back in soon. He covers the Jaguars. He's literally in the press box. He covers. Well, he's been in the press box and he covers the team fully, and I mean fully. The Duval Dive, bing, is one of my favorite shows that I could ever pay attention to, and I'm so glad that he's ever allowed me to be a part of listening to that shit to increase the pleasure to my ear holes. This Chargers-Jags game. I'm going to talk to Kyle about this, but Taylor, you're still on screen with me. Jessica will be back. She'll figure it out. You look at T-Law, and one of the things, when I say T-Law, I mean Trevor Lawrence, of course, quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think I have a little more respect for him than the rest of the league does. Kyle seems to agree with me, but what do you see as far as deficiencies in his game, or are you a little on the same page with he and I?
Yeah, I think the talent's there. I mean, he's won some big games this year. I mean, you look at they beat the Chiefs on Monday night. I watched that game. He played great. I just, and to be honest, I have to go through my pregame prep for Sunday's matchup, but I don't know. The Jaguars just it's weird team to figure out. They look great one week, and then I watched part of the Texans Jaguars game on Sunday, and then they just fell apart. It's very inconsistent. So, I think going into Sunday, I think the game plan for the Chargers has to be very similar, where it's quick passes. I always go back to that Miami game. I thought with what they had in that Miami game, very similar. Get the ball out quick, try to get Vidal going. To keep Herbert upright. I think that's the game plan that has to be with, our last ranked offensive line according to PFF.
Yeah, PFF is having so much fun with that shit too. And hey, I can't really disagree with them too much, but I'm really truly buying into the fact that 10 is just so special that he's going to figure it out. I need to do something real quick because I refuse to host any show where I'm remiss regarding anybody who pointing out something very important in the comments. Phyllis Williams, your cousin, is obviously a guest on this show. Appreciate you being a veteran, and thank you so much for everything you did. I saw your comment earlier. My mic cut out like 3 times, and I couldn't get the shout out in. I wanted to wait for a good time to do it because Taylor does a good job of educating all of us on all things Chargers. Jessica, welcome back. We're talking about the vibes at the stadium. 62 consecutive games. You've obviously been to so many in a row, home and away. Thank you so much, Taylor, for appreciating that. I love it.
That's awesome.
It's a huge vibe, and we're not going to get into any tough conversations regarding fan of the year, but I would really like to make sure that folks know that Bolt Blitz is 1,000% behind Jessica Thompson as the next fan of the year, because I do not have any doubt that streak is gonna continue until she just can't continue anymore. So
don't
Jessica,
jinx it.
I'm not. No, I don't believe in that shit. No, we talk things. We manifest things. We talk shit into truth. I'm not worried about any jinxes. This is not a Chargers conversation. This is a real life shit conversation.
Hey, just like the terrible towel.
No, those. Yeah, and guess what? You crushed the curse. Nobody's gonna give you that credit. I'll give you that credit. And by the way, the switch up to the bear, you know what I loved about it is you still showed the hole in the towel.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? But it made it so much more special to me. The fact that you did that, I was just like, now that I can see it, there are so many jokes down the line that I can carry off of this. It will make me a better host. But seriously, though, talk about the vibes. The Tennessee game was weird. You were there. Talk to me about that real quick, and we'll move to the next one.
No, Tennessee was good. I mean, I'd rather talk about since Kyle. So the worst bot. Okay.
No, go ahead.
We went to Jacksonville in the playoffs. There's Kyle. Okay. Kyle, congratulations. Your fans were the worst ever leaving the stadium after you guys came back after a 28-point lead. That was bad. Were you there?
I was in the press box for that game. And let me remind the Bolt bureaucracy, the Bolt of fans, such that it is. I'm a Niners fan. I just covered the Jags because the commute is way cheaper. But I will say this, for as many members of the Duval Devout that I deal with, there's a lot of pain there. You as Charger fans have seen games that you should have won slip through your fingers. And no, I'm not referencing necessarily that playoff game. I mean, just in general, right? Younghoe Koo is a thing. Okay? Like, the Jags have that same element to them as well. As fun as Gardner Minshew was, he threw away some of those games. Blake Bortles is a punchline on a sitcom, for Christ's sake, okay? There's some commonality there. And while they weren't, I got Booga with that one. But while I'm sure they were less than pleasant, they were acting out just for all the loss that they had seen in the first place. And the way that the Jags, kind of meandered their way into the playoffs. I remember after the game walking out to do my post alongside a Christian Kirk, now Houston Texan, Christian Kirk, and saying, man, I didn't have you for the playoffs, but here we are. And all he could say to me was, here we are. What more do you say after that? By the way, the Duval Dive will always be a pro Christian Kirk show, regardless of what TV
plays for. And hey, I kind of wanted Christian Kirk to end up a Charger. Listen, you guys are you're listening to Bull Blitz Uncut. We've got Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us from the Electric Edge podcast. She's literally one of the best doing it right now. If you're not paying attention, then you just are choosing not to actually learn about the NFL and the Chargers. If you're not paying attention to Jessica Thompson, everything she does for the Bolt fam, then that's a choice. Maybe you just decide to make the right choice and consider that, there's a lot of people that know a lot of shit about football. And I'm really proud of the fact that.
Did you
go ahead?
Bolt fam to get a hold of their life, Booga? Is that what that's what I heard.
I'm trying to make sure that people get this shit right, man. Have you watched Chargers Twitter? We have. I'll tell you right now, the trio box right here in an L, like a weird short Tetris L, Jessica, Taylor, and myself, although Jessica's warming up to Twitter or X or whatever the fuck y'all call it.
Whatever. Yeah.
It's a barren ground, and it's made up of things that were not that way about 10 years ago. And I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it and change it. And I'm not sure that I can, but I'm really patient. So I look forward to the opportunities that I'm afforded by the people that I add to this show. And I really do think we can do it because it's a cess fucking pool, man. It's so ugly. It's so disgusting. It's people say, listen, I like some of the weird accounts that people don't like. I know people don't like Pink Panther. I enjoy it.
It's so funny.
I enjoy levity. I mean, God damn it. Can we not have fun in this life? You get one turn. I enjoy Osama bin Johnston. Or Q-Sama. Excuse me.
Right.
I mean, that's a funny one, too. I mean, are you kidding me?
Ready. Oh, my gosh. I'm going full Kevin Hart, and I'm too tall for that. I wasn't ready.
Well, one of us isn't, but that's none of your goddamn business. I'm still taller than Kevin Hart, just so everyone knows. 5'7" is as long as they fix my back. I look at the Chargers Twitter situation, and it's in dire straits. I got people talking. I don't. I see people talking about, people that are revered in the Chargers community talking about certain tweets being spoken like black tweets. We better be better than that. Can we be better than that, Bull fam? Oh what the fuck? There's no such thing as it's characterized as a tweet in any other way than the fact that whoever put it out there is just what they put out there. It's not about any ethnic thing. It's not about gender. It's not anything. It's just Twitter. We don't have to take it too seriously. The Chargers fan base right now is in a weird fucking place. The same people are talking about Justin Herbert should sit on the bench.
Oh, they want to shut him down
and let Trey Lance play because we want to make sure Justin Herbert can be healthy for 2026. I'm not willing to give up, and I hope that every fan that listens to this show is better than that. The only option
over till it's over. Let's go.
7-3. The team's 7-3. They have.
You'd think they were 3-7.
They have a great chance to win next or Sunday in Jacksonville. And then they go on a bye. They can get healthy. And then they play the Raiders. Like that. That is a very good stretch right there.
Rondé Gadsden's going to come back. And then, like you said, then they face the Raiders. It's a quad bruise. And what's ironic is although he kind of removed himself from the group chat because AD was always hitting the fucking group phone call, John Kegley was like, it's either a quad bruise or it's a knee bruise. And if it's a quad bruise, then we're going to be in good shape and it'll be a lot less. Well, lo and behold, he ended up being right. Though I hope they keep him out against Jacksonville. If they don't, I think he'll be fine because he's so athletic. He's got enough shake to his routes that I'm so sorry. A few more TV screens up there. We can watch Booga's bunch.
Hey, listen, they like that it's a party. You're taking that the wrong way, man.
No, I'm not because, well, never mind that part. So what we're going to do here is we're going to redirect. I want to make sure that everybody who's listening to this show understands that the Chargers offense, defense, and Ficken turned it up a little bit too. When you guys look at the performance in-house, listen, it was a tough game against the Steelers, except for the fact it wasn't. They gave up a late touchdown. They held the offense to 3 points. You were there in person, Taylor, and then we'll follow up with Jessica. How impressed were you with the defense? And is that the way that the Chargers move forward, is relying on the defense?
Oh, Jess, you go.
No, go for it.
Okay. All right.
It's cool. Yeah. I got it.
Okay.
No, I got you. Right, cool. It is the way that they go forward. With Jesse Minter operating at the level that he's at right now, the last 3 weeks have been a completely different mindset. Yes, it did help getting Perriman and Deshaun Hand back. I don't know that can be talked about enough. One of the things that I mentioned about a week and a half ago, 10 days ago, was that Dante Jackson is not getting enough shine. Having a cornerback like that who's playing at the level that he's at, while he's getting no recognition, is good.
Yep.
I believe it was Alex Ensdorf of the Guilty as Charged team that mentioned that as well. It was after me, but that's cool. I really appreciate the fact that we're seeing these unsung heroes really get a little bit of shine. When you watch a Dante Jackson, and by the way, Cam Hart, he's the 19th ranked cornerback, out of 107 players. Taylor, when you see a defense putting up those kind of things at random spots where we're really not paying attention, how much of an impact does that have?
Oh, I think it's a huge impact, especially with, and I go back to the issues we have on the offensive line. I mean, you look at the past 3 games, the Vikings was a defense dominant performance. The Titans, the defense only gave up, I think, 6 points. And then, Sunday, you can, if you want to question the late touchdown, but it was really 3 points the whole game. I think the defense is going to be that driving force going forward, just because of the inconsistencies on the offensive line, getting things going. If that defense can set the tone early, keep points off the board, that's going to set up the offense to have success, and put the game in good shape for us to win. But yeah, I mean, Dante Jackson, I think I saw a stat where, as far as like active players, he has like 21 career interceptions, which, people don't talk about. It was one of those signings where it was kind of off a whim. I think it was like a 1-year deal, but I've talked about him on my show, and I thought he's played great so far. I think that secondary in general has played very, very well this year as a whole.
No, it's funny to watch Dante, especially because nobody's talking about it too much, and I love that you actually talked to him about it. He's been with a lot of teams. A lot of teams decided to make him a castaway, and it's been nice to see his performance and output. He's a capable tackler too.
Yep.
Although we did see that the Steelers decided to scoop up Asante Samuel Jr. Good luck. They're going to run at the slot every time. Every opposing offense is literally running right at him. Now, will he lock some dudes up every now and then? Sure, as long as it's not Devontae Adams. Because Devontae embarrassed him over and over again. I do, by the way, I'm picking on him a little bit. But I wish him nothing but the best of luck, especially when they're not playing the Chargers. I expect him to be hurt in 3 weeks. So we'll move on from that shit because I really don't care. This is Veterans Day, and I talked to you guys about my dad. He hated that shit. He really just did. He didn't like the Happy Veterans Day. And we're not trying to close out the show right yet because I got to get with my producer Kyle and talk a little Jags Bolts. But when you hear folks say that, Jessica, you said you kind of understood where he was coming from. Of course, he's passed, RIP. But what do you mean by that when you say that you understand where he's coming from?
No, I mean, it's just what I don't like is when people get Veterans Day and Memorial Day confused.
Yeah.
You should never be saying Happy Memorial Day. Like, this is a time to remember and like really remember those that passed fighting for their country. And Veterans Day is just, thank you for what you do. But I have a hard time taking compliments or, oh, thank you for your service. Yeah, no, there's many other people that have done way more than I have. So like, I'm like, I'll go have a free meal, but that's about it.
Well, obviously, I think everybody on this show would believe that it's look at the 80 just saying goofy shit. Taylor, I'm gonna put you right on the screen. Actually, Kyle's going to. Taylor, when you talk about your service, and I actually fucked that up because it was you that I had the conversation with. That was, I get what your dad said. What did you mean by that? Forgive me for fucking it up.
Yeah, I mean, I made a choice. I wanted to serve my country. And I get people are appreciative of it, but it's something I chose to do. And anyone that says thank you for your service, like I appreciate that, but it just, to me, it feels a little awkward. And I'm sure your dad kind of felt the same sentiment about it. You know, it was a personal choice for, I'm sure, Jess and, you know, like I said, myself to serve my country in whatever capacity that was. And to Jess's point, there's a lot of other people who've done a lot more than I have, and I appreciate their service. And you know, I hope that with what I've done for my country, I've done some good and been a positive influence in someone's life, whether it's my unit, someone I've met through my service. I just hope that's the case.
That's beautiful. So well put. God, y'all are so good at this shit. My dad would be so glad to be here right now and hear this kind of shit. R.I.P. to Pops. Miss you, brother. Wish you were here. What's funny to me is I look at a day like this and there is this weird division. And I think it's just social media created. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I just think that it's nice to appreciate the people that do things that the rest of us aren't capable of doing and or we're just not willing to do them or not in the position to do so. This is Veterans Day. We really appreciate all of you veterans out there. Thank you so much for those who have served, who have passed, and are serving right now. This has been a really fun show on Bolt Blitz. On God, I didn't know it'd get too heavy, and it's getting a little heavy for me right now. So we're going to transition out of this, but what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we give the props to the folks that have made this show possible. We're going to start with you, Taylor. Talk about the Electric Edge podcast and tell people where they can find you, wherever you want to be found.
Yep. So you can find me on YouTube. I'm at Electric Edge Podcast. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can listen while you're at the gym or driving. And then on social media, I'm at Electric Edge Pod on X, TikTok, and Instagram. And if you are going to the next home game, which is against the Raiders, I will be walking around the tailgate. I met up with Jess on Sunday. We got to meet each other in person.
Love the pick. Loved it.
Yeah. So if you're going to be there, let me know. Come say hi. And if you are at the game, I sit all the way up in 532 normally.
I love it. Oh, God. Did you really just make yourself cooler? Like, I'm just there. I'm so happy to be there. That's so amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I love going. You know, I wish I was a little closer to LA, but it's always a fun trip out to SoFi.
And you're out there. Hey, we'll be talking about you soon enough, I'm sure, all the time. Jessica, you look at this next game. It's a game against the Jags. I don't know if you're concerned or not, but you look at what you've done as a Chargers fan, and how excited are you to attend another game, because that's just what you do.
I'm excited. Look, every game is a concern. I go and like people, they're like, Jessica, every game I'm so nervous for this game because you never know. Like, this season has been so unpredictable, and I think I've told you this before. Like, it doesn't matter what the odds. Like, that's why you go out there and play the game. Any team, any Sunday can win. So never go in there feeling cocky. And I feel like with Harbaugh, this new like culture that we have, we're going in with a totally different mindset, and it's nice to see that. Like, you know, I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were just saying, oh, it's gonna be the same charge. We do so well, and then we're gonna tank at the end. I'm like, no, like, you can't. What kind of fan are you that just believing that we're gonna go tank?
No, I saw, and I'm not going to get into the name. It was somebody that a lot of Chargers fans really kind of follow their Twitter, whatever. And it was weeks ago saying that they needed to pull Herbert and put Trey Lance in to keep him healthy.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to win football games, or do you want to just hang in there and lose? Like, I don't get it. And there were some other suggestions by this person that I didn't really quite understand. I don't know how anybody who's ever watched a Chargers game fully from the beginning to the end could say, yeah, let's take 10 off the field.
Yeah, and can you imagine asking Herbert, hey, would you like to come out so we can save you for next year? Like, what?
The laughter or anger would be insurmountable. The entire stadium would. Hey, Taylor, we got to bring you the hell right back in. Could you imagine anybody on that Charger squad, whether it's Roman or Harbaugh, saying, "Hey, we're going to pull you out. We're just going to see what happens."
That's ridiculous. I mean, first of all, let's just talk about the money. How much money does he make? $40-something million a year. There's no way.
I think it's 52.5.
Okay, fair enough. There's no way on this planet he's coming off the field, nor will he want to come off the field. And you know, I get the whole, you know, the Chargers are going to charge, but like to Jess's point, the new culture with Harbaugh, it's not like that anymore. Like, you've had some bad games this year, but I mean, they're still 7-3 with all of the issues they've had in the offensive line, the running backs going down, some defensive players out. You have good coaching. You have a world-class quarterback. And I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes I overreact, but relax. They're going to weather the storm and be in a spot to get into the playoffs.
To me, the initial overreaction is part of being a Chargers fan.
1,000,000%.
Because we're so ingrained in how this shit can work at times. I look at this Chargers team now, and it does feel different. And I'll be honest, I am part of the problem when it comes to it feels like 3-7 instead of 7-3. When you lose Alt, and then of course prior to that Slater, it's like mother. And then you get Alt back, and then for the fuck of it, let's lose him again. Well, and then you're watching Austin Ridiculous, and nobody can defend the PFF grades, whether they're good, right, indifferent. It doesn't matter.
But what's crazy, like, look at all that. Imagine if Anthony Lynn was our coach.
No, you nailed it right there. There's so many Charger fans who are going,
We would be 3-7. Or we would be 3-7.
Imagine if it was
It's on the
Daly.
coaching.
Yeah.
No,
Look,
yeah. So it's a different regime. Go ahead, Kyle.
It's a rough place when you lose your aging starting left tackle. Your tight end ends up getting lost, who's a star. You lose your oh no, sorry, I'm channeling the Niners. Never mind.
Yeah. No. Slater's not aging. He's incredible.
You see, I started to drop the hint when you heard that part, right? But we
Ron
did lose
Staley.
the top linebacker. At least Matt came back. Fred Warner's still out. No, but listen, I say all the above to say this, and I want to gauge the group to see if this is the appropriate way for those people that might not know. When somebody suggested Herbert sit, and his reaction, I think it was you, Taylor, or I forget which one of you said it specifically, to be honest, but like, I picture him answering like Dr. Evil from Goldmember. How about no?
He said that's one of his like top 10 movies, by the way, in that video the Chargers YouTube put out.
Was that not the funniest video we've ever seen Herbert be a part
cool.
of? It was so fun. I love that one. I was a little disappointed that Interstellar started to beat out Step Brothers because I appreciate his sense of humor so much. That being said, it's an incredible movie, but until we really do all that shit, I'm not really worried about it.
I'm a big fan of Interstellar, so I was like, all right, I can appreciate that being number one. I mean, it's a long watch though, so.
Were we surprised that Inception was on there for a cerebral quarterback like Herbert? I mean, come on. Like, of course, Inception was on there. Step Brothers, love it. Love it that he included that. Was there anything that surprised you on the list? You watched it.
I think the fact that Goldmember was as high as it was. Like
over and over again, too. It beat out a lot of movies.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Austin Powers Goldmember, just watch it. Ironically enough, since we already talked about my veteran father, Marine and Vietnam vet, it was one of the few movies that he would watch with me that was a little out of touch as far as the way they talked about things, and he really thought it was really funny. So it was one we watched a lot of times. So I'm really glad that it kind of made its appearance on this show tonight. Not exactly what I expected. We're looking forward to the next game.
I had no idea that my how about no take was this strong. I appreciate everybody.
Oh boy, we can keep going with that too. Man, you think I can't talk about this forever? Taylor, we talked about you and where we can find you. I want you to do it one more time just so everybody really hears it loud and clear. And then we're going to bring in Jessica. And I really want to talk about the 62 game streak and what that means to the rest of the fan base and how she feels about it moving forward. Taylor, again, because it's important to me, I really want everybody to hear your shit. You're too good for people to not be paying attention. Please remind everybody where they can find you, please.
I really appreciate those kind words. It means a ton to me. But you can find me on YouTube. I'm at Electric Edge Podcast. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'm on social medias. You can find me at Electric Edge Pod on X, TikTok, and Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. You know you're going to come back. We can't
Absolutely.
wait to have you be back
Anytime.
on the show. I know. And I'm gonna message you at weird times, and you're just gonna be like, sure. And I can't wait. I look forward to it. Folks, that's Taylor of the Electric Edge Podcast. Please give her a round of applause on the way out. Leave some kind comments in the basement, as we like to say, on the Bolt Blitz Uncut comment section. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Taylor. Listen, Jessica, no, thank you. It's so important that we talk about something that matters to me. I'm not here to roast anybody who's done anything fan of the year wise, but if people have questions, I have opinions. I would really like to see somebody who I know I'm setting you up, aren't I? I would really like to see someone who deserves it win fan of the year. And thank you for your 62 game streak, whether it's a road game or a home game, literally none missed. When you look back over the last 62 games, you know, what type of tough downfalls have you had to go through? I mean, let's talk about the stadiums you were in. And then also, I mean, you've been all over the league. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Tell us just all about your experience over the last 62 games.
So it's different because um it's really the fan bases that you meet up with across the league that like make it or break it. And shout out to all the hosts that go, because basically wherever the Charger fans go, there's always a host over there that's going to host tailgate meet and greet. So props to them for all that they do.
Absolutely.
But there's just a lot of work that goes into it, and Charger fans everywhere, like they do travel well, believe it or not. And Minnesota was one of my favorite games because, VWO, we did a tailgate with them, and like the game itself is so ceremonial.
VWO is like Vikings World Organization or something
Yeah,
like that, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I remember
But
from a really long time ago.
yeah, so no, it's just you can't really. It's so hard to sit here and say like one is better than the other because each of them brings such a different experience. But I try, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but I try not to place a lot of weight on the 62 games. Yes, I'm counting because I do like stats.
You
and I do
better.
like keep track, but like we all do what we can as a fan. And like, it doesn't matter if I go to 5 games or 62 games or like what you do for the fan base, like these podcasts. It just everybody brings what they can to the fan base, and collectively that's what makes us better. So I have a hard time with that, and I know you love the streak, but I just
Oh, hold on. Kyle, you better bring me back in right now, man. Your humility, your ability to really it's not a matter of putting yourself in the background. You're confident enough and at the same time know what you've done, but you're always constantly focused on making sure that the people that you believe have done more than you, whether it's true or not, get the recognition. I think that that's one of the things that really creates a foundation for fan of the year. And if y'all haven't been paying attention, Bolt Blitz Uncut, Bolt Blitz Enterprises, Bolt Blitz LLC, where the fuck we become. We're promoting Jessica Thompson as the next fan of the year. I know I have my gal, Phyllis Williams. I know that Phyllis has got your back. That's cousin to our gal, Jessica Thompson. And if y'all aren't paying attention, she doesn't have to give credence to her 62 game streak. I will as it continues to grow. I think it's the streak.
Wait till the one day I get sick and then I miss a game, and I'm like, now he's gonna be talking about she's got a 1-game streak.
I will never do that. I will make it the most somber story ever. You'll have a sore throat, and I'll write the most beautiful soliloquy that nobody has ever heard in their life, and everyone will be like, "Motherfucker, she would have been there if she could have been."
I have a feeling
It's what I do
on the kazoo, Booga, if that happens.
Oh, if he can do it on the kazoo as opposed to use a recording. Jessica, it's so important that we escort you out of this conversation before we start talking Jags, Chargers. But I really think it's important that people get to know the next fan of the year. I don't give a fuck what you think. I understand blah, blah, blah. Humility,
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't specialize in humility. What I do specialize is making sure that people eventually get their just due, if you will. Tell people where they can find you, even on the Old People app.
I don't even know. Just come to Thunder Alley or one of the games, and then let's meet up there. I don't know.
So
You can't find me anywhere. Come to Thunder Alley. Come to a game. I'll see you there.
Well, I'm not going to give you her phone number, but what I will tell you is I will tell you that you can find her on Twitter at ChargerChick55.
Oh, I
And then
forgot about that. Yes, that too.
And I believe on Instagram it's ChargerChick76.
Yeah.
So I guess I've done a little homework, and I'm just trying to make sure we get you out on a good note. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your service. It's not in a corny way. It's in a I really do appreciate it, because if I could have done it, I would have, but I didn't. So thank you for everything that you did for us.
Hey, thank you to you and Kyle. You guys are awesome, and AD for what you do for this podcast. Like, you guys bring so much entertainment, and I know you thank me for like promoting it, but I only do it because like I'm passionate about this, just like you guys are. This isn't like this. This is second. I'm like, everybody should be listening to this. How are you not? How are you not? I don't understand.
Okay. Well, I feel about 5'9" right now, and if you've met me, I'm not 5'9". But I will say this right now, Jessica, that's an incredible way to end your visit on the show. I'm going to text you when we're done here. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye for now. Listen, hey, this is Bolt Blitz Uncut. We don't fuck around on here. We just talk. Easy, Kyle. We don't talk about anything just for the sake of talking about anything. We just have a little bit of fun. And how many people have tuned in to try to win? I'm done fucking around talking about giveaways and not actually doing one. I need ones in the chat. I need so many ones in the chat. Who wants a Keenan Allen inversion yellow jersey? It's a large size. Let me see some ones. Come on. Let me see. Just the number 1. It's just a 1. No, we're not going to get it, are we? That's all right. We're patient. Just the number 1. Anyone? Nope. So what we're going to do, there's Hugo. Hugo, you win right now. Give me your address. I'm serious. DM me. Terry Tucker, you're going to win a jersey too because you hit a 1. All right, Emma Bolts, you get one too, and that's enough. I don't have any more. And Phyllis does too. That's 4. I got enough for 4. That's enough. My goodness, Kyle, it was fun to see people join in.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see you next season, Jess. Yeah, you better, 80. We miss you, brother. I've never even met you, but Jags, Bolts. I mean, you're the expert on the Jags. Talk to me.
Well, no, and listen, first and foremost, you bring up Trevor Lawrence and all of it. I'm going to start here. Yes, the media is going to take giant shots at Trevor Lawrence. I'm not here to say he's perfect, but he's not the problem. You want to know the commonality between the Jags and their lowest penalty count for the season? 4, precisely, in a game. You want to know what game that was? You could probably guess, Booga Peters. What game was it?
I could guess, but I don't want to guess. I need you to tell me. Well, I'm going to monitor these comments while you run this shit like a boss. Of course, it's
the Chiefs, right?
No, is it really?
It really is. You only get penalized 4 times, and that's when you overcome Patrick Mahomes II, right? This is what I'm saying. I'm all above to say this. This team, this Jaguars team, is uniquely vulnerable to your Chargers, and let me tell you why. You could say what you want about pressure king Josh Allen, who has a bazillion pressures. Very few sacks. I think it's like a 6% conversion of pressure to sack. We can get all nerdy with that. But the punchline is they don't get home. And I don't care how bad your O-line is. If you don't get home and you got a quarterback like Justin Herbert back there, Booga, the commonality is the one good quarterback that they've beaten is, in fact, Patrick Mahomes II. Look at the other quarterbacks that they've played. And they've lost to 2 backups. They gave up 20 points to Davis Mills in a quarter to lose the game against the Texans.
I don't want you sitting here getting our hopes up too high, but what I will say is now look at Jessica. Yeah, I get to hang out in the comments now. I love it. I fucking love it. She's like, no, I'm done with this fucking expensive feeling like I'm too in this shit. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us again. Yeah, Brian, I got something for you too, dude. I'll send you something. Everybody send me your addresses via whether it's everybody got their name called out that they will get a jersey, and I'll figure out how we figure that out. Maybe we just do it tomorrow in a draw from a hat, and I just pick out 7 jerseys and we give them to 7 people instead of 5. But what's not fair is I've talked about giveaways forever and we just haven't done them. And it's mostly because though we have a lot of loyalists, I was hoping to get more in here, and I don't think that that's fair to the loyalists. And I'm so sorry. I know everybody, a huge apology, and it will be better. I see you, Brian. If you were 5th, then I'll give you a really funny one. Actually, I'll give you a really funny one. We look at this Jags Bolts matchup. We can talk about Herbert. We can talk about T-Law, Trevor Lawrence. But what I need to know about is your offensive line and your running game. Travis Etienne is somebody that I loved coming out in the draft, and I've seen some flashes and I've seen some good numbers. But what do the Chargers have to do regarding those 2 facets of your team?
I mean, listen, Hand has to have a big game, and Tart can't just be a Tart. He has to have some pretty sweet play. But listen, it starts and ends there, right? Where I get most worried about the offensive line is less about what they do in the run blocking scenario and more what they do in the pass blocking, right? Khalil Mack is going to get a sack. It's just a matter of whether it's on 3rd down and will he strip sack Trevor Lawrence, because Walker Little once again struggled against a tough blitzer. And Walker Little's been getting the business at left tackle because he's facing the best player on the defensive line every week.
It's also a horrible name for a fucking left tackle. Walker Little? No, man, he might as well be Booga Peters. I'm just saying.
Cam Little, much better name for a kicker who can bomb it from 68 or 70 yards. Plenty of other
fair.
That being said, the run game, listen, when this team's multidimensional, just like any football team, they're better on offense. Where I get the most concerned is in the pass protection piece. And here's the thing, Booga, they're miles better than they were last year. But with Travis Hunter being shut down for the year, put the numbers in a pink can.
I know. Everybody's fucking around. No, Phyllis, no. I have something for you. I have something for everybody that I said that I have something for, period. And then I'm going to throw some extra shit in later. We're going to look at the show after the fact. And I literally have like 12 or 13 jerseys. They're not all Chargers jerseys, but we'll figure some shit out. They're not other team jerseys because I'm not an asshole, but they're novelty jerseys and some fun things that I think people would enjoy having as they go into the holiday season. And perhaps as they move forward into Halloween of next year. If you don't celebrate Halloween like myself and my children, that's on you. But we have a lot of fun during that time.
Yeah, and I'll even add this, like maybe we put a pink can in as well with Jessica's jersey.
You motherfuckers, man. It's so what? I get as drunk as everybody or more. Mine just tastes better.
Ooh, there's a joke in there somewhere. We'll move on. No, but
mine does, by the way.
Anyways, the other piece too is not only is Travis Hunter on the shelf, removing one of the top receivers and the top corner, arguably on the team, they've had issues with injuries in the secondary. This offense will eat. If the Jags had their receiver core intact, I would make an argument. I don't care who wins the game. Bet the damn over. Until Brian Thomas Jr. is battling injuries. The drops thing, people are making a bigger deal of that, I think, than it currently is. I think he's overcome that. He's had some excellent catches. He's dropped 1 or 2, since then, and has been on the shelf lately. But those first 4 weeks, it was the problem. He's bounced back from that. But media being media, they stuck to the story, right?
We're familiar for sure. So let me talk more about that Jags offense, the running game. Tell me more about who you have in the backfield. And then also, when I look at your tight ends, obviously you have Brent and Strange, but what more do you have?
I mean, that's the thing. What you say is correct, but it would be pretty strange if he goes off on this game when he comes back. You said
gross.
How many
times? I totally did. So gross.
How many times I've made Brent and Strange jokes on the Duval dive? Come on, man. Anyway.
You could have hit the bing right there, just so you know.
But to your point, not only is it Travis Etienne, Bayshaw has been an excellent
A
substitute.
game breaker, fast as shit. What was his 40 time? It's a 4.3 something if it wasn't faster.
Yeah, it was among the top in the combine. And by the way, not afraid to run him between the tackles, does a pretty good job of doing it as well. But
So the big concern behind him as a prospect was the fumbling issues. Obviously, he had a ton at Tulane. Has he put the ball on the carpet, or has he been good so far?
No, he hasn't put the ball on the ground yet. But that's the advantage to having a committee is, you don't have too many guys slinging it too much. They stay fresh. All that happens. And I'd be remiss to not mention LaQuint Allen as a 7th round pick, the best protection guy in the stable, and certainly helpful when they do blitz. It'd be interesting to see him versus Khalil Mack on a couple blitzes. I'm curious to see how that goes.
Oh boy, you're not interested in that. You're cowering.
Max Crosby. It was hilarious video.
Okay, so I'm so okay. I'm so happy for this moment because I couldn't remember who LaQuint got into it with on social media. It was clearly Max Crosby. I need to make something incredibly clear. And I know that my doppelganger, Max Crosby co-host, who's much taller, different color hair, 80 Simons will agree with this. Max would fuck him up every day, all day, just for fun.
That's not the point, though. The fact that
he was running shit. Hey, LaQuint was talking some mad shit.
That's how you stay in the game. You have to show.
Is it, man? I just did my shit.
Yeah, he's got to show them he ain't afraid. Otherwise, he will eat them alive. And I loved it. A 7th round pick in there doing and handling business. That's not what you expect, and yet here we go.
No, so I'm so glad. Actually, I feel kind of guilty that you talked about his draft status because I didn't think it was that low in the draft, and here he is. He's like, I ain't afraid of fucking Max Crosby. Fuck that guy. I love that as a Chargers fan, of course. I'm also a football purist, and I respect the tough guys in the game and the right ones, but I don't know enough about LaQuint Allen to really speak on that. Let's talk about these wide receivers. I know that you talk about Brian Thomas Jr.'s drops being overstated. When you look at that receiving core, who do the Chargers fans in the defense have to worry about? Maybe include the tight ends.
Yeah, and I mean, Brenton Strange is the main thing they have to worry about. If they go to tight end sent, that's going to be awkward. They've gotten one of their tight ends back whose name I've forgotten because he's not really played significant time yet. But Hunter Long missing as the second tight end will reduce some of their sets. They've been splitting out offensive linemen
as tight ends and slot guys.
As an overbalanced, overshifted line, and then he'll turn around and get a damn false start. It's murdered the especially during the Houston game. Ogba was out there and still getting fouls against small guys in an unbalanced line. It's just unacceptable. That's why they need Brenton Strange back so much. But yeah, from where I sit, De'Ami Brown lately has had more trouble catching the football than Brian Thomas Jr. I know he's coming back from a shoulder injury. And then sneaky good receiver, Parker Washington.
I knew you were going to say that.
If I don't, I'm not doing my job, Booga Peters.
You did your job perfectly. And let me do something for Chargers fans. I'm not worried about De'Ami Brown. I'm honestly, depending on who's matched up on him, if it's Cam Hart, I'm not too worried about Brian Thomas Jr. But Parker Washington underneath and the shit that he can do in the short to intermediate game, it kind of messes with me a little bit because I don't know how the linebackers and anybody underneath is going to handle him. Can you talk a little bit about what he does underneath and how he kind of he does a really good job of sitting, if you will, or finding the pocket in the zone.
And it isn't even just that, Booga. It's as a guy who in the same game can do that role while also breaking off a punt return can tell you for a touchdown, by the way, can tell you how shifty he is. And I think that element is what truly makes him dangerous. And you talk about covering the other underneath. He's already there. Oh, by the way, there's a matchup that's kind of strange that I have to bring up again. If they're both on the field attacking underneath, what can you do? So
I'll tell you right now, Henley has to have a great game. They're going to have to substitute Troy Dye in there for some coverage, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting matchup. What I don't want to see happen is your boy T-Law prove me wrong. I think he's so much better than people say. I think that he's a I don't know if it's an example, but I think that whatever he's dealt with in Jacksonville has not really been fair.
It's a case study. Let me walk you through that, right? Because
Thank you, please.
people will say, "Oh, but Trevor Lawrence is a fifth-year quarterback who gets a lot of money." Listen, I get it. He's going to get the flack. He's smart enough to know he's going to get the flack. I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence in that sense, but I don't really think he's a fifth-year quarterback. Let me tell you why. I sat through a year watching him be mired in Urban's coaching. You've heard me use that pun before, Booga, but the fact of the case is this. It's so thoroughly accurate. His first year is basically a throwaway because then he had to turn around with Doug Peterson and relearn everything. By the way, name me a quarterback that Doug Peterson has actually developed. You can't. That's why. So what Doug Peterson was used to, Booga, was 3 Hall of Fame caliber offensive linemen when he won the Super Bowl, right? You've heard of this Kelsey brother with the huge beard, yeah? You know, well, I said beer, I meant to say beard, but both are accurate. Whatever. He advertises.
On this show, beer is very appropriate.
Correct. He advertises for Buffalo Wild Wings. It's okay, right? And then, what is it? Lane Johnson and Jason Peters as well. These are all dudes that Doug Peterson had in Jacksonville. When you had Ken Robinson, Brandon Surf, and Luke Fortner, it was not the same, but you kept running the football team that way. And while you were pencil whipping dudes open with Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, that's one thing. When they started to figure it out and then the pressure came in and then T-Law was regularly missing games, you're supposed to make me believe T-Law has 5 years of actual experience under his belt. I'm not buying it.
And as you shouldn't, I will just say this. I would love to see the rest of the league give the credit to T-Law that he's earned. I understand he came in as a 5-star. It was insurmountable odds, and this guy was handed a pile of bullshit. You can tell me better than I can try to enumerate to everybody out there, but the different number of offensive coordinators and head coaches, I mean, it's been a mess.
Well, and then the whole, like, once he got past Urban Meyer, the whole situation with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator, by the way, related to Zach Taylor, Bengals coach, right?
Bengals coach, yeah.
So the whole controversy as to whether or not Press Taylor was calling plays or Doug Peterson was calling plays, if you have that kind of unrest already going on, let's just put it this way. It's way worse than this whole controversy the media tried to make up between Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence when he waved him off when he was yelling at him in the heat of battle. Okay, this is not that. Okay, can we not do that, please, for 30?
We won't.
Seconds? So,
not here, I promise.
We won't here. We don't have Emmanuel Acho on the show. But I'm firing shots. My bad. But
you're not even allowed to say his name on this shit. But I'm glad you did.
So yeah, I feel like just it's such a culture change to what's going on. And by the way, you don't have your defensive tackle playing 61% of his snaps at defensive end like you did last year with Eric Armstead. I think there's just so many things that are different and better. And by the way, Devin Lloyd decided to break out this year. Who had that on their bingo card?
Nobody. Devin Lloyd didn't have that on his bingo card. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
So even still, I mentioned all the things the Jags have going for them and what the Bolt bureaucracy should be worried about. At the end of the day, the two things that the Jags are worst at are the things that will make the Chargers better. They can't rush the passer with 4 dudes. And at this point, everybody knows Anthony Campanelli is going to try to blitz the bejesus out of somebody with a safety, most likely. That's something that Justin Herbert's going to be able to read and take care of.
When folks actually pay attention to what Herbert does, his ability against the blitz, if you watch the last 2 games against the Vikings, Brian Flores defense crushes it. It's like 800. It's not 800. But it's like 740 yards between the 2 games. His last 2 performances.
740. Yeah, my bad. By the way, in a world where Davis fucking Mills can run the final touchdown in
the longest neck of all time.
You know, I'm sure at some point Justin Herbert's going to get a few yards on the ground. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no. It's not just that he's going to get a few yards on the ground against Jacksonville. He's going to end up finishing this entire season as the most rushing yards for a quarterback in the league because he's kind of almost already there, and he was there. If he's been passed, fine. I don't know that I've seen a player like Justin Herbert want to. This is so hard to say. a Phillip Rivers aficionado. I don't know that I've ever seen a player want to win as much as Justin Herbert. He never makes excuses. He always has the perfect thing to say. He's not emotional. He's all these things that upset people, except for the fact that he just seems to find a way. You see the offensive line, the PFF grades, everybody's cognizant of what's going on. And the Chargers are 7-3. At what point do we say Justin Herbert is not just special, he's transcendent. He's changing this franchise. It doesn't matter what Harbaugh has to say about him. It's about what 10 puts on the field.
I would only challenge your use of the infinitive instead of the past participle, right? Changing, full changed.
Yeah, sure. I should have used the past tense. I love that you actually use past participle. Thank you so much for that, because I'm not used to people talking like that, sir. Oh, I'm not allowed to do that on Veterans Day. I can't.
My dad was a vet. I saluted already.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. Trust me. I tried that once. It didn't go well for me. I will just say this. I look at this Chargers organization. I look at where they're going, and yeah, there's some questions, and we're a little bit concerned, and we're all on edge. But 7-3 is 7-3. I hope that everybody's allowing themselves to take in the fact that this shit can be completely different. This team could have folded like it has in the past. A Staley-led team does not have a 7-3 record. They do not, and they would not. Nah, don't you dare. Not for a second. Going into this Jags matchup, I'm a little concerned about how they match up with the Jags. I do believe that having Deshaun Hand and Denzel Perryman back is really going to be the main part of what controls this game. I'm not too concerned about any of the wide receivers, including Brian Thomas Jr., but Parker Washington in the slot does give me a little bit of concern. If Travis Etienne does decide to figure out how to run the fucking football, he could be a problem. But that being said,
surprised if he or Tootin catch one or two for a first down out the backfield as well. Not for nothing.
No, and I'm so glad you brought him up too, because we talked about him earlier, and he had a lot of fumble problems in college. But he's a guy who has the ultimate speed. He's a different kind of. I mean, it's a different kind of speed. It's very different. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I need everyone to message me. I mentioned you're getting something, because I'm not going to remember. But I'll go through the chat and we'll figure that shit out. We know Herbert for MVP. Yes, Brian. Agreed. 1,000%. The problem is outside of the Chargers fan base, nobody agrees with that, which is ridiculous because so many people have. Oh God, I love you. So many people have made a living out of trashing Herbert. Key Adams.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Ryan Clark. I can keep going. Nick Wright
on the show.
I can go forever. All these cats, man. Hey Jessica. He is. Look at the numbers. Put any other QB in his position with the number of pressures and sacks, and what would that look like? It would look like trash. It would look like landfill, which is right where the old Pistons, the Palace of Auburn Hills used to be, right down the road from me on M24 here in Michigan. It would look like that. Now they've rebuilt that and whatever, but I mean in past tense, it was horrible. The landfills behind it are really bad. The Seagulls are overwhelming.
Oh my God. You joke, but you want to know what that looks like, Booga. It looks like the Jacksonville Jaguars last season, because that's exactly what Trevor was dealing with. It wasn't injuries, though. They were just bad up front. You know what the big injury was last year? It was Trevor.
Yeah. So here's the deal. When we look at numbers, and I'm so glad that Jessica brought that up in the comment section after being a guest on the show. She's still hanging out and staying strong. We all saw the graphics during the primetime game against the Steelers. Austin Deculus, 38 out of 38 left tackles in the league. Center Bradley Bozeman, 36 out of 36 in the entire league. I mean, I'm not going to keep going. I can't. It's Trey Pipkins. It was 35 out of 36, I believe. And forgive me if I'm wrong. What Herbert is doing is not just special, it's otherworldly. And I really hope that the people who listen to the show are able to embrace that and just believe in him 100%. Kyle, we're talking so much. And I think it's probably because I just keep ranting and raving because I'm so excited and so happy about how many people joined the show tonight. We were able to shout out the vets. We were able to shout out all the Chargers fans who listen to what we have to do. Get me in the right direction before we sign off.
Yeah, no, man, listen, all of it was fantastic. We had a solid breakdown, great stories from both Taylor of the Electric Eds podcast, as well as super fan Jessica Thompson. This is what I've dubbed her anyway. That's what I think it should be. And of course, you had your own experience to share with us, Booga, which I think was fantastic. And I got to have that unique experience to have insight about something other than Trey Lance on the show. It was good for me, for sure. So I had fun with it. I'm going to jump out of here. Booga, sign them off.
We're about to sign you off right now. I just want to do something, and I'm going to take a little bit of a second to make sure I can figure out how to scan through the entire chat. We're going to do a little shout out here to everybody. Jessica Thompson, of course, Phyllis Williams, Terry Tucker. By the way, I noticed you, Terry. Thank you so much for showing up. I believe that you're here because of Jessica or either Phyllis or both. I'm not sure, but we really do appreciate you being here. Football has nothing to do with gender when it comes to knowing what's going on. So you ladies are always welcome here. If you didn't see the show tonight, then that's on y'all. But we feature women here because we appreciate y'all. Herbert for MVP by Brian Cates. Hugo, thank you so much for showing up, Brian, again. And then, of course, 80 Simons, my co-host. I talk a lot of shit about 80 because he talks a lot of shit, and then he spends $4,000 on this weird chair that he's going to, like, make navy blue and, like, yellow tweed or some shit and whatever. I'm so excited to see how that looks, but so glad that you tuned in tonight. Appreciate you. And then, of course, we're going to go back to Phyllis Williams. Dear Phyllis, I believe we met each other at least once, but I don't know that you're appreciated enough for how much you support the Chargers and how much you always have. I hope that this moment right here allows you to feel appreciated and that I see you, you're heard, you're felt, and thank you for everything you've done for so many years. And give a shout out to Amanda Johnson as well, because I don't know if enough people talk about her either. She's been a part of this shit for a long time. Appreciate y'all so much. This is the end of Bolt Blitz Uncut. I'm going to go pass out, maybe have a beer or 6. Appreciate y'all so much. Have a good night.